Welcome back, everyone. It is Sunday sit-down time. Joining us tonight in his Sunday sit-down debut, PowerMizzou's Drew King. Drew, thanks for making the time on a Sunday. We got a big day coming up tomorrow. What do you think about it?
Man, I think it's going to be an awesome year for Mizzou. They're coming off their first NCAA tournament in a long time. And so I think this year the expectation is to kind of make it back to that point that starts tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, Dennis Gates headed into year two. You know, we know his expectation last year. He set his goals high. He never sets the goals low, right? He's setting the goal as Phoenix this year. You know, what do you think it says about setting those goals high for him? You know, what is it about Dennis Gates that he doesn't want to set any low goals that they'll meet right away, right?
Yeah, I think that kind of speaks to him as a coach. You know, he wants to set the bar high, sorry. Yes. But I think that also speaks to, like, what he came from, right? At Florida State, they had a whole lot of success there. At Cleveland State, he was able to accomplish a lot of things. And so I think he wants the same for Mizzou, and I think he's getting a lot of buyback from the players, from his staff, and also from the community.
Well, Mizzou picked to finish 11th in the SEC from those media polls, and I asked him in the press conference this week, you know, does it feel a little bit different going into a year where maybe there's more excitement, at least on the fan end? You know, do you think it feels a little different, like the expectation for Mizzou, at least from a Mizzou fan base perspective of it?
Yeah, I think, you know, last year coming in, I don't think that there was necessarily an expectation of we're going to make it back to the tournament. Obviously, they were going through a coaching change. There was a ton of new players. You really didn't know what to expect. This year, we have a little bit of an idea because they do have some people back. The whole staff is back. And so I think that there is a little bit of an expectation of we've got to get back to March Madness and show that last year wasn't necessarily a fluke, but it's going to be what people are going to come to expect out of the basketball program.
Well, what do you think in this offseason? He added, obviously, a few key pieces, some transfers there coming in from Iowa State, Colorado State. What do you think about the pieces he was able to bring in the offseason?
Yeah, so I think, number one, they're all very, very experienced. You look at Connor Vanover, he's been to 2 Elite Eights and also made it to the NCAA tournament last year with Oral Roberts. Caleb Grill has been to the big dance. John Tonje has been to the big dance. Tamar Bates has been to the big dance. So it's a lot of guys that know what it takes to get there. On top of that, you have a really talented freshman trio with Jordan Butler, Trent Pierce, and Ant Robinson. Those guys are going to help this season. And then you also have Jesus Carolero, who hasn't been to the NCAA tournament yet, but I know will probably be itching to get there.
Right. Well, height was a big thing I feel like people focused on last year. I feel like we got some of that. You mentioned Connor Vanover, and we've heard good things about Maybor Majak, you know, in the offseason. What do you think about those two big men that Mizzou is able to keep this year?
Yeah, so the big thing with Mizzou last year was they really struggled rebounding. They really struggled to kind of protect the paint. Connor Vanover checks a lot of boxes for them. He's the #2 shot blocker in the country, did an awesome job on the boards at Oral Roberts. And then on top of that, you look at the offensive side, he's the leader in three-point percentage among players 7 feet or taller, right? So that's going to fit right into Mizzou's offense. So I think, yeah, he'll be a great fit for them. Maybor Majak obviously had a lot of big moments for them, so I think that he can fill in a pinch as well.
Well, you look at the three anchors that he talked about, Sean East, Nick Honor, and Noah Carter. You know, what do you think about that trio and what they're going to bring in this second season now for Mizzou?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that Dennis Gates brought up in his press conference was how much he's going to lean on those three. Nick Honor, I think, he's kind of like America's point guard, right? Just is a very understated guy who does a whole lot of things that don't necessarily show up in the box score. So I think that he's going to be a huge help. Noah Carter, he's going to kind of fill into that Kobe Brown role where you need somebody who can bring size but also bring shooting, and Noah Carter brings both for them. And then somebody like Sean East, who I think that Dennis Gates is expecting a lot more from. He mostly backed up Nick Honor last year. I think that we're going to see the two of them play a lot more together this season, and it's going to help to have that secondary ball handler who can help facilitate with Nick Honor.
Well, you mentioned one big guy, Kobe Brown, and Demoy Hodge obviously leaving as well, Trey Gomillion leaving. How do you fill, you know, a Kobe Brown-sized hole in your roster, a Demoy Hodge-sized hole in your roster?
Yeah, so a few years back when I was covering Texas State, they had a player named Nigel Pearson who was averaging almost close to 20 points per game, and they had a really good season, won 20 games, and it was right before COVID shut everything down, so we didn't get to see what would have happened in the Sun Belt tournament that year. But Nigel Pearson graduated, and the next year that was kind of the same question: how do you make up for a Nigel Pearson-sized hole? And what they did was they did it by committee, right? They had one player average 12 points, one player averaged 11, and another averaged 10, and they actually went on to have a better season. They won the Sun Belt regular season tournament, or regular season championship. And so I think that's kind of going to have to be the approach with this year's team, with Mizzou, right? You're not going to have a one-to-one replacement for Kobe Brown or Demoy Hodge, but you can find ways to make it up in the aggregate, splitting up kind of the responsibilities of each of those guys.
When you look at a guy like an Aiden Shaw, I think he was an immediate fan favorite for guys that for fans when he came on last year. You know, what do you see as far as, you know, maybe his role expanding this year for the Tigers?
Well, first of all, I love watching Aiden Shaw play. Like, him dunking is obviously like one of the best parts of the game. For Aiden, he's obviously one of the most athletic kids on the roster, so I think that Dennis Gates is looking for him to bring a bigger impact on defense and rebounding wise. You know, Aiden got some limited run last year. He's going to get a little bit more heading into his sophomore season, and so using his ability to kind of soar over everybody else, I think is going to be a big deal. I know he's been having strength. That's been one of his main focuses this offseason, and so yeah, I think the expectation is a little bit higher for Aiden coming into this year.
Well, Dennis Gates has really hammered home that this schedule this season is a lot more difficult than it was last season for them. You know, what do you make overall of maybe, you know, the non-con and when they get to SEC play? How difficult is this schedule for Mizzou?
Yeah, it's definitely a step up. You think about last year, they didn't really have too much of a challenge until it got to the Kansas game in December. This year, right off the bat, you're going up against some high major teams. You've got Memphis, who made the NCAA tournament, Minnesota, who's in the Big Ten, and those are both in your first 4 games, and that was kind of by design, right? They want to really test themselves going into the non-conference play this year. And so, yeah, I think that Dennis Gates has talked about, you know, recruiting's kind of the most important part of building a program, but scheduling is number 2, and so that was definitely something they wanted to address going into his second season.
Well, I want to talk about Dennis Gates and the recruiting trail. We've obviously, on the football end, seen Eli Drinkwitz, you know, blaze a trail there. You know, what have you thought maybe in this offseason of his recruiting and Dennis's recruiting abilities now that he's had a full offseason as Mizzou's head coach?
Yeah, I think it's been really impressive. One of the things that Dennis does a really good job of is talent evaluation early on. And so a lot of the guys that I talked to on the recruiting trail, whether they're 2024 recruits or even 2025 recruits, they always tell me, you know, Dennis actually offered me back when he was coaching at Cleveland State, which was a while back. And so he's able to get on the ground floor, establish that relationship with them, and it's really helped him coming into his second season now. I think they've got the number 2 recruiting class on Rivals.com, and so yeah, I think that there are really good things to come for the program moving forward.
Well, looking forward to seeing them. Arkansas Pine Bluff tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I know you'll be there. We'll be there as well. Looking forward to that. Thanks for making some time on a Sunday night, Drew. For the rest of you guys, we'll be right back after the break.